Hi there, we're back in Charlene's kitchen. Here I am again. I thought I'd make some meatballs for dinner tonight. I love to make meatballs. Meatballs are so versatile. You can put them on a sandwich, you can make a meatball sandwich, oh boy, with peppers and onions. Uh, you can have spaghetti and meatballs, which is what I think I'm going to make a little sauce. You can have barbecue meatballs, wonderful, with some potato salad or they're just delightful, I think, and they're pretty easy to make. And if you have, if you make too many and it's just the two of you, like with me and my husband, you can always freeze them, but they never get that far because I can make different things out of them very quickly. Now I'm going to lower this just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I have my meat here in this bowl that I found downstairs in my basement that I have all my stuff at. And so I let this get to room temperature. I've had it out for a while. The same thing with my eggs. Okay, so I'm also going to saute some vegetables that I chopped earlier. I want to show you. This is about a teaspoon of garlic, about a half a cup of onion, and about well, maybe a tablespoon of red pepper. Okay, we're going to put that in a little pan with some about a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to do that right now so that can get going. And I'm going to put that in there. That's a nice little sound. There you go. Off and running. All right, so we've got that nice onion and the red pepper and garlic. Okay, now I used one clove of garlic. One clove of garlic. About a teaspoon or no, more of a tablespoon maybe of onion and perhaps a teaspoon or a little more of red pepper. And you know, if you like more, put more. It's not very consequential really, but you don't want to have too much again because it's part of your seasoning. When that gets a little tender, maybe 2 minutes, I'm going to add the spinach to it. I like what it does for my meatball. Again, it adds to a nice little flavor. I'm going to beat my eggs, two eggs. You can use even one if you want. This is a little over a pound. It's not quite a pound and a half, I don't think, but it's a little over a pound. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a little onion powder, a couple of shots of that, a little rosemary, garlic, just 2 little sprigs or 3 or 4, whatever comes out. I just like the taste of that. Okay, then I've already pre-measured a teaspoon of parsley, a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to mix that with my eggs, okay? I don't want to torture the meat. You know, they keep saying, you know, don't over mix. I don't know what they mean by that. You have to get it all mixed up in there, right? Then I softened some white bread that I previously dried. You know, when I have leftover bread, I just put it in a little Ziploc bag and use it for my meatloaf or for my salmon patties or whatever. I'm going to add now the spinach to that saute pan. I'm going to soften that up a little bit, get that going. Okay. Oh, it looks like it needs a tad bit more of olive oil. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon more. Okay. So you can hear that going. All right, I'm going to take it off the flame. It doesn't have to be on the flame anymore because this spinach, my goodness, it just falls apart very quickly and smashes down to almost nothing. But it's really good in the meat, in the sauce, really good. So we want to get that little bit down like that. Okay. A little bit nice flavor there. All right. I am going to transfer it for a minute, okay, because it's a little hot. I don't want to put anything hot into my meat, into the meat. So I'm going to transfer it into this little bowl I have here, okay, and let that just cool down for a few minute or two while I'm doing something else with that. Okay, I'm going to put this pan to the side because later I'll be making a sauce for my meatballs. So I'm going to be frying again sauteing again some meat. So here is that nice sauteed vegetables that we made. And you know, I'm thinking that I'm going to put this on my board here. And I'll tell you why, because I think I should have maybe torn those leaves up a little better. And I'm gonna just run a knife through it, okay? Just run a knife through that, just to get that a little. The spinach leaves. I want to get them a little bit more chopped up, okay? Yes, there, I think that's good. I'm happy with that. I don't want to get a whole spinach leaf in my mouth in the meatball. So, there it is. Even though I don't mind, but some people might, because, gosh, I love that. Okay, so there it is. It's cooled off now quite nicely. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. I'm going to transfer this dish, this board for a minute, and bring my bowl over here so you can see. There's the ground meat. I haven't done anything to it yet, except I added that softened bread. You can use breadcrumbs too, but somehow I like to use bread softened. It also, there's more moisture. You have to supply some moisture if you're using breadcrumbs. So now here's the 2 eggs. Eggs make the meatloaf fluffy. There was a chef one time, a long time that I used to watch on the Food Network, and he must have put 4 eggs in a small amount of meat. He just swore by that. So we had already put in our parsley, oregano, parmesan, and salt, and we sprinkled a little onion powder and a little bit of rosemary, garlic. What we didn't do is we didn't put my Parmesan cheese in, so I'm gonna mix that in there. Okay, I'm gonna throw it in. We have everything in here now except this sauteed vegetable. So then it goes in the pool. Everybody go in the pool. And we got a lot of things going on. If you get this all cut up and ready for yourself, you'll find that this is fun to make. It's not that tough. People say, oh God, I get so tired thinking about all that I have to do. It's really not that bad, really. Now I'm going to start mixing it up. And I want to tell you that you bring your meat to room temperature, your eggs. Don't be putting it out of the freezer. Well, you couldn't do it out of the freezer. But you couldn't do it straight out of the fridge and then expect this to mix up. So it mixes up nicely. And that's what you want. Okay, so here, we're just getting all those flavors. And I mean, we put quite a bit in there. Now, there it is. I'm going to take a smidge of this. I have to check it. Doesn't need a thing more. You know what it does need? It's just a little more pepper. Now, where is my pepper? Here it is. I just want a little pepper in there. Okay, a couple of shots of pepper. I'm a pepper girl. I like my pepper. Okay, so this is it. Okay, hope I didn't overdo it. Gosh, they don't want me to overdo it. So here's my board, my cookie sheet rather, and I put a paper towel down. Why? Because I'm going to make my meatballs in a row, let them sit there, and then I'm going to start frying them. I'm going to start my pan up now to get it warm. And here we go. And so I make my meatballs not too big, and I roll them in panko breadcrumbs, as I think I've said before. Once you go panko, you don't go back. A little, like maybe, okay, a golf ball size, huh? And you roll it in the panko breadcrumbs. I love panko breadcrumbs. They are the best. It's the best thing that ever, I always just use breadcrumbs, but these are better. They make a nice crunch. So I'm going to be rolling these little meatballs in my panko. I will get back to you after I've completed that and I start frying up these little meatballs in some olive oil. Hello, we're back. I finished putting all the panko, rolling the meatballs in the panko breadcrumbs. My pan is really nice and hot, really nice and hot. And so I'm going to, I'd like to show you a little bit closer here. Here they are, see? They all came out. And look at that, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 meatballs. That's pretty darn decent for not quite even a pound and a half. So we're gonna start putting them in the oil. I think I want just a little more oil. I think now I've got about 2 or 3 tablespoons of oil in there. Okay, and there we are. And so now we're gonna put them in the frying pan. And they're already giving me a nice sizzle. There you go. I'll put half in there, get those browned up. And let's see. We've got a nice little sizzle going on those meatballs. We'll be turning them around until they get brown all over. And we'll put them back on a cookie sheet and put them in the oven maybe for a little bit while we make our sauce. Get back to you. The meatballs have all been browned up in a little bit of 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil as needed. And now we're going to put them in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to start our sauce. Okay, here we go. We're going to start to make our sauce for the meatball sauce, for meatballs and spaghetti. I don't know if I'm not gonna make them all. We eat about 2 meatballs each with our dinner, and then we'll do that. But I'll have something nice, huh? During the week. It's nice to have something that you don't have to do this every day, right? Now I'm going to show you, I made a little, chopped up some onion, about a half a cup of onion, some garlic, and some red pepper, and I had a little orange pepper. You know, I bought those little peppers that they sell at the Jewel. I'm going to put that in there, get that sauteed up for our sauce. Okay. So let that go there. Okay. Now, into that sauce, well, we have to wait a few minutes. We got to get that a little tender, maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe. Okay, so here we are. You know, as I was sauteing these little veggies for the sauce, I forgot that I wanted to add a carrot. And so I grated a little carrot in between here, and I'm going to put that in there. Carrots are a natural sweetener for spaghetti sauce. I always did that. Okay, Chloe knows when I crate a carrot, she just knows. Here you go. She's happy. All right. Ever since she was a little pup, she knew that I had the carrots out. Don't ask me, but these dogs know everything. They know the sound of whatever you're doing, right? Okay, so we got our carrots, garlic, onions, and peppers sauteing. I'll get a little bit on there. Let's take a look. In the middle of the pan, you'll see that I added some tomato paste. Looks like about a tablespoon. I want to get that in there so it's nice and hot. They say don't just throw it in the sauce, in the water, or after you got the sauce, but put it in there so it gets kind of simmers a little bit all by itself. Okay, so we got that. Okay, I'm going to add now a third of a cup of red wine. Like so. Okay. And now I'm going to add some seasonings. So it's going to be a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of oregano, teaspoon of parsley, teaspoon of fennel seeds, a little onion powder, a teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to stir this up a little bit here, just a little bit. I'm going to add now my diced tomatoes, and I'm going to let that bring up the flame a little bit. Let all those get kind of tossed around a little bit. That is really simmering along very nicely. I'm going to add just a little rosemary with garlic, just a couple shots of that. I'm going to add a little ketchup. I don't know, I always did, and it gives a nice flavor. We get all these different flavors together. Like so. Let that simmer away. I'm going to add now to that about a half a cup of water from that can that I used of the tomatoes. You don't have to use, this is diced tomatoes. You don't have to use diced tomatoes. You can use crushed tomatoes. I didn't have any, so what I have, that's what I use. Now I'm going to bring that to a simmer. That's our sauce. We'll see how this all, let that come to a little bit more of a cooking. And I want it to come to a nice simmer. And then I'm going to taste it. Sometimes I get surprised. But when you want to make your own sauce, kind of nice to make your own sauce, because you start to use your imagination. What are the seasonings that you like? And let's go with that. All right, so let me see, make sure I have it mixed up enough. Come on now. Come on. Start simmering here for me. I guess that water killed off my simmer. All right. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, that's nice. We're just going to let that simmer for a little bit, maybe 15-20 minutes. And then I'm going to cook up some pasta, and we'll plate this up. I added my meatballs to that sauce. So I have, let's see, 6 meals out of that. No, what am I saying? 6 meals. We have each 2 meatballs apiece, and I want to give my neighbor a little bit because she, again, shoveled some snow for me. And then I'm cooking up my pasta, and it's capellini noodles. capellini noodles, okay? They're on the thin side. They cook up pretty fast. Make sure that you add about a tablespoon of, or maybe a heaping teaspoon at least of salt to your water. Don't throw your pasta water out until you're sure that you won't need it anymore. Okay, I'm going to check those noodles and we'll start plating up our meatballs and spaghetti. Okay, so we have something for another romantic night if that's what you want to do for Valentine's Day, or make it any day. A little glass of wine, some meatballs with a little sauce, Parmesan cheese, and oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? Make it your own.